What's up, everybody? My name is Dell. This is Dell on Movies. Thanks for hanging out with me. And if you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. We are back with another episode of Movie Swap. And tonight's guest is one I've been waiting on for a long time. And we had to schedule once before. He wasn't ready. No pressure. Just rescheduled. We came back to it. And here we are tonight. And for me, this is it's a special one because this is a person whom I've known less than a year. I've known him less than well, maybe a little more than a year actually, somewhere in that ballpark. And before that, I had never heard of him. He never heard of me. But in that time since, I think we've formed a bond and a friendship. So it's always good to get your friends on here. And I got none other than the man, Big Chris, aka FloydHouseFlix. What's up, my man?
Yes, sir. I am here. What's
All
going on?
right. Well, you got to hit him with the specialty. You got to say it, right?
Yeah, it's Floyd House Flex. What's
All
good?
right. All right. Now, you showed me something backstage just a second ago. I got all excited. So I want people to see it, even if they don't know what it is. Can you just show them the shirt, my man?
No doubt. You
It,
got to
if
represent. It's Halloween, so you got to represent with the Blackula shirt.
yes, no doubt.
Got the
So
stake in the heart. Can you see that? Can you see it? Yeah, there it
I can
is.
see it pretty well. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna go big screen here real quick. There you
Gotta do
go.
that.
There you
Back.
go. All right.
Bloodsucker.
So that just means that after the show, I'll probably be on Amazon or
There you go.
somewhere looking for the shirt.
It says he's deadlier than Dracula.
Yes, absolutely.
Racist.
So how have you been? Everybody wants to know. That's the question, really. How have you been, man?
Oh wow, I've been cool. Just working my way through things. As most people know, I lost my mom back in July, so that kind of that threw me off track completely. And since then, I've been trying to get my head right and get back. And that's a slow progress and process rather. And it is what it is. I don't want to bring the mood down too much, but yeah, I've been dealing with some life things, and it's made me better in terms of dealing with life stuff. This is, these are those heavy times, and but other than that, I've been really working on just trying to get back on track, and my family's been really supportive. People like you, reaching out, check them, man. You checked in quite a bit, and I really appreciate you for that. That's why I had to make sure that you knew that I appreciated you, and thank you again.
Oh, no problem. Like I said to you, and a lot of people don't know this because this happened before my YouTube life. In 2019, I lost my mom,
So
and it's still one. Like I told you, you still deal with it every day, but you just get to a place where you can deal better with it.
yeah, yeah. There is no. Um, I don't even know if better is the right word. Um, you learn how to manage through
Yeah.
it. Of course, your parents, their memory and their lessons and their everything stays with you forever. I know people that have lost their parents 10, 15 years, and they still go through moments where they, miss that. And but fortunately, my mom did a great job. I'm happy. Um, I'm stable ish, and you know, I feel grateful for all that she provided for me. So I think that she'd be proud to know that everything is everything, and we're gonna keep it pushing.
Yeah, yeah. What works for me, and we're gonna get off of this in a second, but what works for me is just thinking about the positive moments, and and I see it, or I hear in my voice sometimes something that she would have said, or I see in my kids, man, you kind of you reminded me of grandma right now, your grandma right now,
Right.
and those are kind of things that I get a little smile out of, and that helps me a lot.
Dig it, dig it. Yeah, we all have bad times, but you move through it, and that's the key. Just move through it. The process is the process. Be willing to go through the process, and at the end of the day, you know, you'll be back on your feet.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, so now we're gonna move past that because I don't want everybody rushing out feeling sad. So,
Fair
but
enough.
well, my first question really is, since you got the black color shirt on, I wasn't even going to ask this question, and we're going to talk about more in this vein in just a couple minutes, actually. But other than the movie we're going to talk about, what are some of your favorite black horror movies?
Blackula, of course. Then the sequel, Scream, Blackula, Scream. Then um, they, Abby. I hate to say it because we already said it, but
Yeah, yeah, that's
that
cool.
movie was nuts. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get really into that. But um, even, you know what was a sleeper for a lot of people? Bones. Snoop Dogg.
Bones. Okay.
A lot of people slept on Bones. It was like, that they didn't expect to see something like that from Snoop Dogg. You
Yeah.
know, that was good. Candyman, of course. If you want to call that a black horror flick, because the Candyman was black, and I guess it was a black horror flick, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, there are quite a few that I'm missing. I'm pretty sure of it, but in the exploitation realm,
Hmm.
mostly, they go in a different direction, but they had to kind of click in to the genre just for inclusivity.
True. True. Um, how you feel about the Tales from the Hood movies?
I can't even lie. Not my favorite.
Not your favorite. Okay. Okay.
Not my favorite. Once we moved past a certain point in filmmaking, I couldn't get into them. I couldn't really get into them, and not to mention a lot of them. Some of these movies are regional. Like Tales from the Hood was more of an LA based
Yeah.
kind of movie, and me being from New York, certain things, I just didn't resonate with me. But it was okay, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I can tell you that right now.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Did
biased.
you?
I'm New York. It is what it is. Sorry.
I'm New York too, but I do like the Tales from the Hood movies because I like that they actually they have something to say in the pre Jordan Peele era.
Yeah,
They still
yeah,
had something to say. Now a lot of black horror they kind of forcing it sometimes. I think.
yeah. But
Um,
they were very forward in terms of the language for the purpose of connecting to that audience,
hmm.
the black audience, if you will. And I must admit, I wasn't part of that audience. I just couldn't. I love black films. Don't get me wrong. You
Right.
already know.
Right. Right.
But it just didn't. It didn't click for me. I mean, outside of like Scary Movie, stuff like that. The
Okay.
funny stuff, yeah, that was fun. That was a fun thing to do because it was all parody. This one was more like, this is how people act. And what was that one they had? That was from Tales from the Hood too. The big slave house with the picture of the lady in the rocket chair with all the little puppets or dolls she made. And the
Yeah.
way the dude talked about those little dolls, I was like, that's messed up.
Was that the first Tales from the Hood, or was that the last one? Because there's three of them.
I'm gonna tell you, for as far as my knowledge goes, it was the first because I stopped.
Okay. Okay, got it. It's been a while. I just actually bought the 4K of Tales from the Hood,
So did I.
but I haven't watched it in a long time, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
I actually watched it once I bought it, and I bought it. I watched it. I bought it as a collector. I watched it because I hadn't watched it in so long, and my biasness, I wanted to push that to the side and actually watch the movie without it. And
Got
then
you.
I found myself, I saw what they were doing, and I still had a little bit of reservation, but I saw what they were doing, and I get it.
Okay. Okay. I mentioned Jordan Peele a little bit. What about Jordan Peele? How you feel about that, brother?
I like Jordan Peele. He's quite polarizing though, because he speaks from one place, and it seems like he speaks from one place and he lives in another place, or his art speaks from to one place and he lives in another place. I loved Get Out. I loved Us. I dug Nope. Because it was like real time stuff. It's like I get it. The way the reactions were with Nope every time they looked up in the sky, I said, Nope. And that's what that's what that's what black people do when they say, mm-mm, Nope. And
Yep.
I
Yeah. That's
enjoy
yep.
I enjoy
I
Jordan
sat
Peele.
in the theater doing the same.
He brought something different to the genre. I think it was because a lot of people didn't expect that from Jordan Peele, so it added to the
Mhm.
overall appeal of his films. And they were actually good films. So kudos to Jordan Peele.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big fan of his work. I personally, I'm a Us Over Get Out person, but that's just me.
No, that's fine. Because
And
us was really talking. It was really saying something. It was a
yeah,
psychological film. So, well, both of them are. But I get you 100%.
yeah. Like Nope too. It took me a second viewing of Nope to go, oh, okay, I got you. I got you now. And I appreciate that because while I was watching it the first time, I was still like, this is pretty good. But and it made me want to go back and watch it again. Like sometimes when you get a movie that's you don't quite get, if it doesn't grab you though, you don't want to go back and find out what you didn't get. And I'm
Hmm.
that way with like David Lynch stuff. I look at it and it's like, I don't really want to go back to that.
Yeah,
But with
one of the films we're discussing tonight is that completely.
okay, got you, got you. Let's take a run through the chat real quick. Let's see who's hanging out with us tonight. Caveman's first in. He says, "Hey everyone, please smash the like button for these two cats. I appreciate it, Caveman."
Like,
Latulo is here early. Latulo he says, "What's up, Dell Movies and FloydHouseFlix? Hello to everyone in the chat."
too low. What's happening?
Adrian is here as always. He says, hello, how you doing? I'm doing good, Adrian. How you doing, man?
Adrian.
And he says hello to you directly. Steve Moody. Steve Moody's fairly new to the community, and I've been seeing him around a lot lately. Thank you, Steve. He says howdy.
Welcome, welcome, Steve Moody. New faces.
Corey of Wilkie's Movies and Music is here. He says, "Hey, Dell." Corey just started a channel less than a month ago. I want to say one was like 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So yeah, so if anybody has time, anybody out there that hasn't seen his channel yet, go give him a look. And of course, there's Mika. She says, "Hey, Dell. Hey, Floyd."
Hey, Mika.
Mika's been a big supporter of the channel, and she's been helping promote tonight's stream a lot. So
She
I
has.
really appreciate that.
Mika's dope,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rich, what's up, gentlemen? Rich Turner fan 77.
sir.
And somebody else, Blackula. Yes, there we
Yes,
go.
yes, you know.
Caprice, what's up?
Oh, there she goes.
Yep, she's one of my favorite
Uh,
people. Been looking forward to this all week. Well, here we are.
Thank you, Caprice. She's a sweetheart. She really is. She really.
Yes, she's definitely is. So sorry for your loss.
Thank you very much, Mika. I appreciate you.
Rich saying the same.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
Oh, Mama Blu-ray is back,
Mama
Bonnie.
Blu-ray. Hey,
Hey, how you
Mama
doing,
Blu-ray.
Bonnie? I see her and everybody else's streams. We keep running into each other. So glad she made it over here tonight. Jerry says Floyd is a good guy.
What
Absolutely.
up, Jerry? Jerry's the man. Jerry's got a crazy sense of humor. He's a good dude.
Yes, he is.
Thank you,
And
Mama Blu-ray.
you got hugs up
Thank
going
you. I
there.
appreciate those. Those are always welcome. Always welcome, Mama Blu-ray. Thank you so much.
Always. Patrick is in the building. Patrick says hello, Del. Hello, Big Chris.
What up, Patrick?
Patrick, I say this every time. He's got a great channel. He interviews a lot of people in the
Beast.
indie film industry. He interviews them a couple times a week here. And Blackula and the Beast Must Die. I haven't seen that one. Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with it, but I guess we need to get familiar. So that's gonna be the weekend.
Yeah,
Be-
I'm gonna definitely be looking for that one. Never heard of that one. There we go. Abby, Blackula, Ganja, and Hess.
Ganja and Hess.
Yes,
Ganja and Hess will take you places, and
it
it,
does.
it's a crazy movie. Death by Temptation.
Yep,
Well,
that's the next
if
one.
you don't know, Death by Temptation was directed by the guy from School Days, the little
Yes.
short kid with the glasses. I
Yep.
can't remember his name.
I'll remember
Knew
his
his
name because
wife. I was
it's
cool with
hard to
him.
forget. His name is his real name. This is everybody in the chat, everybody watching. Listen to this real name now. His real name, James Bond the Third.
James Bond the third,
Yes,
overachiever.
I don't know. I'm guessing his daddy and his granddaddy were both James Bond, or they had a real serious sense of humor and affinity for
That's
James.
like that's like the kid. His parents named him the coldest to ever do it.
Wow. All right. We got JD's
JD's
Revenge. Yes, JD's Revenge.
don't start
For
nothing. Don't start nothing. JD's
Yeah,
Revenge.
that's a good one.
Clinton
So
Turman.
for people who have never been a guest out there, what I do is I send people a list of movies, and I swear almost every week, JD's Revenge, Ganja, and Hess are on the list. I'm trying to get people to watch those movies,
Yeah,
and so somebody's gonna take me up on the offer.
yeah. Those are the type of movies that I would do when I was doing Blacks in Cinema Sunday.
Yeah.
I would always like to go into those types of films because most people don't watch those films or they're just not familiar with those films. So it's an excellent walk into something different, and you're gonna get it. You're definitely. They're not all the same. They might look similar, but they're definitely not all the same. And when you walk into movies like Ganja and Hess or Putney Swoop or things like that, you're going to find yourself in a space where it's like, wow, this is crazy. Sweetback's badass song,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
Sweetback's badass song. That
Yeah.
movie is that
That one, not a
shot
horror
in
for
real
anybody
style.
who doesn't know that movie. Not a horror movie, but it is a movie that you got to do a lot of digging and diving and figuring to come out on the other end of it.
Yeah, and then they introduced Earth, Wind, and Fire to the music scene.
Yep, with the
They
soundtrack. Yep,
Melvin
yep,
Van Peebles hired Earth, Wind, and Fire as a fledgling band. Maurice White had just put them together, and that's how that happened.
yep.
So yeah, man, that's a real one. But JD's Revenge, a must see.
It is a must see. Um, Mika says modern day horror. I would say Us, Get Out, and His House are some of our favorites. I've talked about His House before. Have you seen His House?
I'm hip to his house. I guess I need to. I got two movies to watch this weekend.
His House is it's a haunted house movie. It's on Netflix, I believe. It's a haunted house movie. Some African immigrants. I think they're from Senegal. African immigrants that migrated to London. So
Oh,
they're really refugees, not just regular immigrants. They're
right,
refugees,
right.
and they're kind of put up in housing. And this house that they're put up in so happens to be haunted.
Wow. So it
Yep,
wasn't bad enough. They had to take bad and make it worse.
exactly.
Oh my god.
Exactly. But it is a good movie. I want to say 2020, 2021, right in that quarantine time.
Mm-hmm.
Great one. Yeah, he called out Patrick called out a great one. All
Do me a
right,
favor,
so let me
though. Take me
yeah.
out 1 quick second. I gotta go grab something really quick.
Oh yeah, no problem.
On the screen. I will be right back.
Yep. All right. So while he's out, I'm just gonna keep going through the chat, see if anybody else is in here. And here's one that here's one Patrick mentioned. Blackenstein was god awful. However, I'm gonna say this for Blackenstein, it's a good laugh. I had a good time watching it. I watched it for the first time like 6 months to a year ago, and I had a blast. It was bad, but I had a blast with it though. So I got you, Patrick. Yeah, it's not a great movie, but it's fun. First Tales of the Hood for that scene that Chris was talking about. Yeah, It Comes at Night. I wasn't a big fan of that one because I never could figure out what came at night. It was I wasn't a big fan of that one. Sorry. Sugar Hill is a favorite zombie film. I still need to see Sugar Hill. I've seen the Sugar Hill with Wesley Snipes in it, but that's a gangster movie, not a not a zombie movie. I've heard about Sugar Hill, the OG, I guess you want to call it, from the 70s, but I haven't seen it yet. So hopefully I'll get to that one pretty soon. And we got Night of the Living Dead. Now that's an interesting one. It's like Candyman. I don't know if it qualifies technically as black horror because we do have a black main character, so I guess we can fit it in there. And it is a great movie though, no doubt. Yes, it's Night of the Living Dead, so we got uh more fans of that one. Jerry saying hi, Mika saying hi back. And so you got to include both Dawn of the Dead films as well. Same situation I just talked about, black main character or black lead character. And I just saw both of those earlier this month, actually. For my first movie swap of this month, I had with KB. He had me watch the Dawn of the Dead remake, and I figured I might as well watch the original while I'm there. So I just watched them both for the first time, enjoyed them both. You ready? All right. And we
And
got,
what's
let's see, Culture Trinity's in the house. What's going on, Trini?
culture? What's up, culture? Tell
And
me
just
where I can
seeing,
get some good roti from.
there you go. Uh Ghost Dad. I haven't seen Ghost Dad either. Is that no? You
Ghost.
are you talking about the Bill Cosby Ghost Dad? Is that Bill
That's the only
Cosby?
Ghost Dad that I know of. Ghost Dad. Is there another one?
Okay, then we're on the same page then. Unless Patrick, you got something different.
Yeah, that was scary though.
Was it? I didn't watch it because
It was bad.
this was like it came out like during the Cosby Show when it was on,
Yeah, so it
and
was a friendly.
yeah, definitely friendly. And I didn't like none of his movies. I liked the Cosby Show, but I didn't like the movies that was coming out, so I didn't bother with it.
Yeah, his movies always had that kind of Shaggy DA kind of vibe. They wasn't
Yeah,
really trying to do
unless
nothing to be funny or barely funny.
yeah, unless it was
Mature
him and
film.
Sidney Poitier.
Now you talking different ball game.
Yeah, if it has Sidney Poitier in there, then we got something.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
Mika remembers Ghost Dad. Patrick said, "I hope I don't lose my hard card with Ghost Dad."
Nah, man, you got to diversify. It's all
You
good.
got to diversify.
You're
You got
teaching
to.
us something. Try to be more open to things.
Absolutely. So before we get started with the movie, I told you backstage we're gonna play a little bit of a game. And friends out there, if you're watching, you can play along this game. I got a couple of movies over here off to the side, and it's Halloween night, is why I'm doing this. And there's some arguments about these movies as to whether or not they're really horror movies. So we're not gonna do them all at once. We just pop out once every once in a while. So of course, I got to start with the one that a lot of people argue about. That's Jaws. So what do you say? Is that a horror movie or not a horror movie?
It depends on your relationship with the stuff that lives in the ocean. I don't particularly care for the stuff that lives. I mean, I respect the ocean. So if I'm going into the ocean and I get ate by a shark, I can't see that not being scary. I can't see that not keeping me out of the water. So yeah, I believe that is a scare. That's a horror movie.
I'm with you. I'm with you because yeah, stuff that lives in the ocean, we don't have the greatest relationship
I'm
unless it's
good.
on the plate. you
I'm good.
know,
I see you got the upper hand. I see. Okay, I
yeah,
get it.
exactly,
But yeah,
exactly,
that's
and
their space. And when you invade their Steve Irwin, good dude, good intentions, but he messing with stuff that don't need to be messed with, and it kind of ended badly for him, and that's a shame. But that's what that's like. I mean, it's dangerous. These things don't know. They do what they do. So when you know what I just bought? Sidebar. I just bought Orca.
yeah, a
You
lot of
know
people did.
Orca?
I didn't get it yet. I do
Orca.
remember it. I've seen it.
Orca was the creator of the now famous boombastic side eye. Orca would pop out of the water if you mess with him, and he would kind of
Yeah,
and side eye you, and pretty much you knew you was done. So movies like that, where these animals are huge and dangerous, and they will kill you, that's scary. So yes, they qualify as a scary movie.
yeah. I like I said, I'm with you. I saw Jaws in the theater. I must have been 4 or 5 years old because it came out when I was 4,
Yeah,
and movies used to
me
stay in the
too.
theaters a long time. I saw that, and no, it was that I was scarred for life after that. So
Now the
horror for me
Meg,
all
on
the
the other
way.
hand, the Meg not so much. Meg 2, I'm not even gonna talk about it.
Yeah, those
But
those are
The Meg, yeah,
action
it's
and
kind of
goofy and
yeah, it kind of make believe kind of thing, but stuff that's real, I'm good.
yeah, stuff that's real. That's a great way to put it. All right, Mika's Jaws will fall in horror for me. Thing jumped on me. Still don't go past waist deep due to this film. Horrific. Yeah,
Them
I'm with
stingrays,
you.
man, you got to slide through the sand so you don't step on a stingray and get. If there was a movie called Stingray, I would call it a horror movie.
Patrick says yes, it's a horror.
Yes,
Trini, there we go. Best royalty in Trinity in Queens and Alley's in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Unfortunately, nothing here on Long Island.
I'm gonna say that's not. There used to be a spot in Long Island in I think it was in Hempstead where there used to be a club over there called Madeiras or something like that.
Hmm.
And anyways, Trinity's being hateful right now because I can't get to Queens or Flatbush and Brooklyn and none of that. Thank you, Trini. I appreciate you for answering, but I'm not feeling that right now. Thank you very much. Now I want some roti. Cali
All
don't
right.
have no roti.
All right, so we've been teasing this long enough. Let's go ahead and get started with these movies. What's the movie you had me watch, sir? Tell the good folks.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, and the movie was 1974's Abby, starring, of all people, starring Blackula. My man William Marshall. William Marshall was Carol Speed. Carol Speed. She was in Superfly. If
Yep.
anybody's familiar with Superfly, she was in Superfly. The brief synopsis of the film is Dr. Garrett Williams, played by William Marshall, explains to his students Ishu, one of the most powerful of all earthly deities. Ishu is a trickster, a creator of whirlwinds and chaos. While on an archaeological dig in Nigeria, Dr. Williams finds a small puzzle box carved with the symbols of Ishu. The whirlwinds, oh, it says the whirlwinds and the cockcombs, pardon, and the erect phallus. When Dr. Williams discovers the mechanism and opens the box and unleashes tremendous blast, knocking out Dr. Williams and against everybody else up against the cave walls. Needless to say, when he opened that box, somehow his son, who was also Dr. Williams, was a theologist
Right.
and a preacher. Well, yeah, he was a preacher and an archaeologist, pretty much. That's what his thing was. But his son was a preacher. So Ishu went to his son and possessed his wife. And his wife was Abby. Abby was pretty much straight laced. She didn't curse. She didn't do anything out of control. Everything that she did was just for her husband and to please God. That's all they tried to do. So for me, that was a movie when I was a kid. That was the equivalent to The Exorcist. Of course, The Exorcist came out in 1972, and Abby followed in 1974. Again, the connection to the genres is just one of those things that during the black exploitation film times, it's just one of those things that had to happen. And
Yeah, it did, and it shares a lot of story beats with Exorcist.
it does. It does. But the difference I found between the two films is The Exorcist was horrifying, and Abby was pretty much hilarious.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that because I was gonna get to that. Man, I watched this. I'd heard about Abby over the years. I heard
hmm
people talking about it. Never got a chance to see it. So when I
Yeah.
put it on, I was like, all right, we got some black exploitation horror. Now I'm expecting a certain level of goofiness because I'm familiar with the genre. I'm very familiar with the genre, but I
hmm
wasn't quite expecting the almost a comedy is what I got
Yeah.
out of it. And I think a big part of that to me was the music they chose.
hmm
The music they chose was just it was happy, upbeat, sometimes kind of goofy, and I don't know how you think that played into it.
All the movies between, I mean, and I'll slide slightly outside of Abby. I mean, all of the movies of that era, they all used wonky sort of music and
Yeah.
what they thought would be, in this case, what they thought would be kind of eerie or creepy, but it was played on those old synths and stuff, so they sounded really silly. And
Hmm.
but it fit for the time. I mean, I thought that it was spot on for the time. And then when they go into different situations and the music turns into more of a hip dip vibe or something like that, then it did that too. I think it covered all the bases in that regard. One weird thing, if I can say, I know this was your movie, but I'm gonna say this one weird thing. If you really paid attention to the movie and you listened to some of the sound effects when things got stormy or when there was like when Abby would kind of unleash and you would hear all these weird sound effects and moaning and groaning. I don't know
Hmm.
if you picked this up, but if you've seen Phantasm, all of the moaning and groaning and Phantasm from those little elves and all those things was
Wow.
the exact same sound effects from Abby. Now, Abby came out in 74, Phantasm came out in 79. I'm not
Right.
saying they stole it.
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
saying they stole it. I'm just saying these must be stock sound effects because they were exactly the same. The wailing. I don't mean it was similar. I mean, if I've watched, if again, Phantasm was one of those movies I watched on a loop, so I know it. So when I watched Abby, I heard it immediately, and I was like, oh, this is wow, this is where this came from. Oh wow, this is really cool.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Now
So
I'm gonna have to
yeah, I
watch
mean,
Phantasm now.
mhm.
Wow. I did
You've
not
never
know
seen
that.
Phantasm?
I've seen parts of it. I've never actually
Oh
sat and
my,
watched the whole thing.
yeah, man. That's we should have we I should have put that on the list, but it wasn't. It wasn't in the vein.
Okay.
I should have put it. I just thought it would be too easy.
No, well, hey, I tell people I haven't seen everything. Just throw it out there. You never know.
Well, and let me say this too. Abby was a rated R movie. Came out December 25th, 1974. Directed
Christmas.
by William Girdler, uh, and it was done by International. American International was a big black exploitation. There it is, big black exploitation. Uh, they had a lot of black exploitation films
Yes.
in their catalog. Blackula, Slaughterhouse, big ripoff. Black Mama, White Mama, the family favorite. Hell Up in Harlem, Sugar Hill, Foxy Brown, Sheba Baby, JD's Revenge is one of those. I mean, there's so many movies that they did that it was you kind of, especially growing again. I go back to me growing up in Harlem. Those movies. If you're black and you grew up in a black neighborhood, you knew about all of these movies.
Yeah,
Especially if you're
absolutely.
of a certain age. Dell and I
Absolutely.
are in and around the same age. So I mean, he looked a little younger than me, but okay. But yeah, and it's one of those things that you knew about these movies. You may not have seen them, but you knew about these movies. And this
Mhm.
particular film company was bringing a lot of those movies to the
Yeah,
table.
you knew when you saw it when you saw that logo at the beginning, you knew you was in for a good time. I just got the Blu-ray for this one right here, and I'm a go big
Black Mama,
screen.
White Mama, yeah,
Yeah, so I just got the Blu-ray for that
that's a nice
recently.
one. That's nice. I
Yeah,
still have the DVD. I must say, I'm lame. And this is not on Blu-ray yet.
no,
But if you look closely right here, it says finally on DVD. So and we're still waiting on that Blu-ray at least.
yeah, we are. All right, so Carol Speed, what do you think of her work in this movie?
Listen, we were coming off of well, my introduction to Carol Speed was coming off of Superfly.
Yes,
So to
mine
see
too.
her go from this to that, I thought she did a great job. There was a lot of voicing that she had to do and lip sync because
Hmm.
the parts when they go into different languages and she was pantomiming the language and she was doing all. I thought she did a good job. I mean, and she's nice on the eyes,
Hmm.
and there's so much about her as an actress. Honestly, underutilized. I didn't see enough of Carol Speed in movies like that. And outside of movies like that, I don't know her whole filmography, but this is what I'm mostly familiar with, and I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, I did too. She was really going for it in her role for sure.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't taking any short, and she didn't feel like sometimes you watch black exploitation movies and you can tell there's some really good actors, but then there's some that's just not. And she felt like somebody who was really taking her role seriously. She was really trying to do the character justice,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought she did. I thought she just did her thing in the movie.
Absolutely,
So,
I
yeah,
agree.
and I'm looking at her filmography at the same time I'm talking, and some of these movies I forgot she was in that I've seen. She was in Disco Godfather.
I saw that. I remember that's Rudy Ray Moore, of
Yep,
course.
Rudy Ray Moore. For people who don't know that movie, this is the guy that the Eddie Murphy movie was about. They Call Me Dolomite, or My
Mm-hmm.
Name Is Dolomite. Excuse me. That's who that movie was about. She was in the Mac.
Absolutely, she was. That's what I said. Superfly. She was in the
She
Mac,
was in the Mac. Yeah, not too fly. She was in the
not
Mac.
Superfly. Take that back. I get a demerit.
And she was in Big Birdcage. I've also seen.
I didn't know she was in Big Birdcage. I didn't remember her from Big Birdcage.
I don't remember her in it either, but I
Huh?
have seen it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's on the shelf for sure.
Yeah, some other movies I've heard of, but I haven't seen. Black Samson,
Yeah,
Savage,
never seen that one.
a movie called Bummer. I don't know what that one is. She's got a few other movies, but yeah, I thought she did a really good job with her character, and she was like really selling it. So I was happy with her. Um, were there any were there any horrifying moments, any terrifying moments at all in this movie for you?
In well, there was a scene that I was told about when I was a kid that she did the whole reversal. Do you remember when they were holding her arms and they had her spread out and she was facing in one direction and her legs turned around in the other direction?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for me when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, that's cold." But they were doing it based on what had happened in The Exorcist with the whole
Right.
spinning head. So she had Reagan had a spinning head, Abby had a spinning bottom.
She had a spinning bottom. Yep. Yep.
I thought
Yep.
that was pretty. That was a cool effect, and that was kind of a conceptually, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. And we keep bringing up The Exorcist, and like I said, it does share a lot of story beats. And when I kind of looked up some reviews and what people were saying about it, and it just kept bringing it up. Oh, it's what they said it was one of the better ones, but it was like, yes, Exorcist ripoff, Exorcist ripoff. But they were
Sure,
saying it's one of the better ones. And I think when people say Exorcist ripoff, they don't quite understand the climate of the '70s
sure.
and American cinema. If you wanted a movie to appeal to black people, you you went at that time you automatically went after what's popular with white folks and just put black folks in it.
Yes, that was normal. That was normal. That was the whole era of uh, black cinema. It was something that could be relatable to other audiences, but definitely identified as a black film back in the
Right.
day. And I've always been opposed to the term black exploitation in some situations. In some situations, there's definitely a level of exploitation there. In others, it's just a view into black life
Yeah.
and things that we saw. Some people might look at it and say, "Oh no, that's not real. People don't do that." Sure, they do. This is the existence. Not all things. A friend of mine uses the term "some but all." Some but not all situations will apply in this conversation. You can definitely see. I can definitely see the neighborhood in these movies. No different than you look at a movie like Do the Right Thing. You know,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
was the neighborhood, and these are things that happen. Crooklyn, most
Absolutely.
of Spike Lee's films that took place in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
those are in line and in sync with the black cinema that they had back in the day. Now they would come out with a term when the movies started coming out on DVD. They were called Black Soul Cinema.
Yes. Yes.
Black Soul
Yes.
Cinema, opposed to black exploitation because it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel right, and there was some of that there. So you had to make it. It's not a term that um, It's not a term that we were supposed to adhere to. There you go. There you go. Oh, you got the double feature DVD, man. You know what
Yes,
that
sir.
they're getting ready to put out Blackula. Who's putting out Blackula? I just saw recently some one of the
I
boutiques
don't
is
know
putting
who,
out
but yeah, I
Blackula.
saw it too.
I can't wait because I still need Scream Blackula Scream. I don't have it, and when I look for it, it's expensive, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah. Yeah. That you mentioned about the label black exploitation and how it applies some to some movies but not to others. I agree. Um, I think what happens is right now any movie put out in the '70s that's black, they automatically call it black exploitation,
Hmm.
and that's just not the case. So like a movie like Abby, yeah, I can see why you would call it black exploitation, but a movie like Coolie High is I don't think that's not black exploitation to me because like you said, it's just a look into life.
Hmm.
Coolie High or Claudine.
Absolutely.
Uh, yeah, movies like that. I don't call those black exploitation
Well, see, some
movies.
people might look at Claudine as that because it portrays a single black mother. And this is one of my Blacks in Cinema Sundays movies. It portrays a single black mother raising like six kids by herself, no
Yep.
dad. And she's on welfare heavy. And the welfare office keeps popping up on her office like, nah, that's not, they must all be like that. Some people will look at things like that. And others, especially the term black exploitation movie was black exploitation was really opposed to by a particular group of blacks that
Oh
really
yeah.
felt the slight of the term black exploitation. You're making us look bad,
Yeah.
so they were avidly against the term, and that's where a lot of the pushback came from.
Yeah, the NAACP was known for not liking that term,
Hmm.
and in its purest form, to me anyway, black exploitation is movies that were funded, directed, produced by white people to appeal to a black audiences and appealing to the basis levels,
Which were all of them.
pretty much.
No, it was pretty much. It was all of them because there were no black financiers at the time that were supporting black film or black artistry. There wasn't there. If it had to be of a certain type, because they wouldn't, the powers that be wouldn't allow something too powerful to come out and be funded by black people, and it wasn't something that was going to work for them.
Right, right, right.
Messaging is important.
Right. We could be here all night on this. Let me
We
see who's
really
out in
could. This
we
the
let me
gears
see
could
who's out in the chat
change
on.
real quick. The gears could shift very quickly.
Yes, yeah,
We say
absolutely.
this with love.
Mika says Abby, yes, good one, great Exorcist movie.
Mhm. And it also
Uh
speaks to the whole Yoruba religion.
yeah.
That's something that doesn't get spoken to or spoken of at all. Most times it's in the realm of black magic and voodoo and things like that. And it's when you come from a place where that was the practice.
Hmm.
That's not witchcraft. That's not black magic. That's your normal day. Now
Right.
you got other places where they, when they hear of it, it's bad. It clashes with the norm, if you will.
Yeah,
Um,
just not what people are used to, certain people are used to, so
and then they throw extras on it to make it really bad.
right, right.
you know,
All right. Trini
Trini,
hasn't seen Abby.
gotta see it, Trini. It'll do you good.
All
Gotta see
right,
it.
Mika, yes, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's on YouTube, Trini. If you can't buy the movie, it's on YouTube.
Yep,
But you
absolutely
should buy
free.
it.
Not the greatest looking version of the movie, but it is
No,
on YouTube. It is
but
free.
it's a DVD. It's a DVD print onto YouTube, so it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Laren, in the middle of Hocus Pocus, we just wanted to pop in to support. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Laren.
Who don't watch Hocus Pocus on Halloween? You gotta do it.
Yep, definitely knew about these films. Yep.
Run
It
them
was
up.
a culture shock for me when I left Queens really for the first time, left New York really for the first time, to be on my own because I joined the army out of high school.
Mhm.
And you start talking to somebody about a certain movie and they're like, I never heard of that movie. And
Yeah,
it was and you start to notice that it's a lot of people who don't look like you just don't know anything about that movie. And it's a
absolutely.
bit of a culture shock.
I didn't know you were from Queens, by the way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. South Ozone Park.
Wow, my brother lives at 120th in Linden.
I lived on. I was My first house was Linden and 126th
Mhm.
or of the Avenue, really, and then my last house that I lived in was 130th Street and 115th Avenue.
You see, uh, Henry Hill and all those guys were right around the corner on Lefferts and
Yep,
Linden.
on Lefferts. And I went to high school at John Adams.
So did my nephew.
Right. So I when I used to walk to school, so I used to walk through Ozone Park where they had a lot of the mobster restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was
and
real.
this was John Gotti's heyday.
Yeah, this was real shit. South Ozone Park, Howard Beach. This is real
Yep.
stuff.
Howard Beach. You remember the guy that got chased onto the freeway from
Do
Howard
I?
Beach?
Do I? I got
Yeah,
a story that I can tell you, but I'm not gonna tell it right now. But yeah, I do
I
remember that.
got you. But all I'm gonna say about it is that happened like right before my first week of high school,
Mhm.
and that whole first 2 weeks, it was basically news media was there trying to get everybody's opinion on it, even the high school kids. I got stopped several times, by media asking me what I thought about it, and then around that, we were kind of having like a mini race riot going on.
Sure.
So it was a it was a crazy time to start school for sure.
All over good pizza.
Yes, yes,
That's
they have
kind
good
of where it
pizza.
started from. Pizza.
Yep. All right. Abby definitely needs a Blu-ray release. That DVD can be expensive to grab.
It is expensive. I don't know. I've had this thing for years, but it's expensive. What up, Cal L?
All
Yeah,
right.
man.
Shouts to Doug got Floyd back outside. Yes,
Man,
sir.
I've been outside, dog. I've been outside, dog.
He's saying hey to Mika, hey to
Culture Montana.
Culture
That's what's up.
Montana. There we go. Oh, Kal-El Wan
Guan,
Guan.
Wagwan, boy.
And there we go. We got
All right, now hold
Shada.
on.
Oh,
No,
oof.
he's just having his sidebar with Trini.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Top shot. I see
Top
it. They,
shot,
they just
top.
they just got a whole thing happening over there.
Right, you guys can stop now.
Hood classic movie though, Shadas.
It is indeed. I met Kamani Marley, man. He's a real cool dude.
Okay.
Real cool dude.
So yes, Abney definitely fit the times. That was normal for black cinema, something that could cross over.
Hmm. And it was
Uh,
so close. It was so close to Abby's dang good. Yes, it is. This. It's so close to The Exorcist. So when you say an Exorcist knockoff, it was probably like one of the first like that because it was so close to the release of the actual Exorcist,
yeah,
and they did take certain tropes and they did go in certain, but then it still had that edge of something else, and
it did.
it really gave us something when we would go to the movie theaters in our neighborhoods. We go watch the movie theater like, yo, you going to see the Mac? We're going to see Superfly. We're going to see Abby. You
Yep.
know, that was that. It gave it that, and you could still enjoy them both because I mean, there's not too many movies that are as good as The Exorcist. I will say that.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
the
Right.
Abby to me was just fun, you know. And it's
Right.
like I don't mean fun like Disney fun, but it was fun in the sense that we could get a laugh out of it, and you can still see the work that was put into it. It was enjoyable for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Abby's so dang good. I love a release of it. Thank you. The Disconnected is here. What's going on, man? He's got a great channel also, of course. Uh Mika, yes, Black Soul Cinema. It's a shame that Sandpiper is getting Blackula in the US now. Is that who's doing that?
Is that who's putting out that Blu-ray?
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with them.
Me either. But why is it a shame? Disconnected. I
Maybe
want to
they
know
have a
why
bad
it's a
track
shame. Are
record.
they not? Are they not good? Are they not on come up yet?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know because
Please
neither one
do.
of us are real familiar with them. William Gerler
Made
also made
Grizzly.
Grizzly.
Yeah, he has a pretty, and he died in a plane crash or something like that. I think that director.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like in 1978, I think he died in a plane crash.
Grizzly was the
That's-
first horror film I ever watched.
Wow.
Wow. Yes, Mika. Yes, many people felt that it put a stigma on black exploitation films, and where that people attributed to blacks, studios would not often show blacks in a different light. Very true.
Hmm.
Kind of goes along, well, really does go along with what you were saying. Patrick, is the term black exploitation a positive or a negative term? And that's kind of what we were kind of getting at. Uh, at the time, I think it was negative depending on, like you said, depending on who you're talking to and your point of view on what it was and to black folks. Now I think this is kind of an umbrella term these days. I don't know where you fall on that.
It's not necessarily a term that I use, and not because I'm staunchly against the term. It just doesn't fit. It's not, to me. It's if there's a film that's of that ilk, that's just making fun of stuff and it is exploitive, I might say it like that. But there's so many other movies, like Truck Turner
Yeah.
is not black exploitation to me. Um, Shaft is not black exploitation to me. Superfly, it might be cliche, but I wouldn't say that it's black exploitation. These are uh, how would you say this? These are characters that actually existed in life. It wasn't like like where you have someone like a Step and Fetch It, um, or Butterfly McQueen, brilliant woman, but
Yeah.
was made to look terrible. Just but at the same time, she in real life was not that at all.
Right.
And
Now.
Neither was Step and Fetch It, for that matter.
Hmm.
That cat was a smart dude, but at the
He
same
was.
time, it was that was the choice.
Now, the films that you said were not black exploitation, there's a common denominator, and they had a black director.
Yes, that's very accurate. Gordon Parks, and
Yes.
or I get it, but at the same time, those films are still in the category of black exploitation films,
Hmm.
black
Hmm.
director or no,
Right.
because he's directing these movies, but he's not funding these movies.
Right. Right.
So, a
He,
movie
he
like
is, but Gordon Parks and Melvin Van Peebles and a few others, they were at least given carte blanche to put their vision on screen.
Watermelon Man.
Right.
You look at a
Right.
movie like Watermelon Man, that was a look into a reality of an individual who was white and had no outside connection to anything but his existence, who woke up black one morning
Right.
and had to deal with the reality of that existence. And if you really sit down and watch that movie from beginning to end, he became good with who he was.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation of self. And there are a lot of people who have misconceptions of who they actually are, or their station, if you will.
Yeah.
And he became okay with it. As the wife says, I had no idea I was going to be in an interracial marriage. He
Yeah.
said, neither did I. I didn't
Yeah.
ask for it.
It's absolutely about the journey of self acceptance.
Absolutely. And then you watch another movie, was it The Learning Tree?
Hmm.
Have you seen The Learning Tree?
I have not.
You got to watch The Learning Tree.
Yes.
It's just a stark conversation of reality in certain people's existence, and there are quite a few people that don't understand that reality, which is fine. It's like we don't understand a lot of the stuff we see either. All the
Right.
jumping out of planes and eating frogs head first and all that type of shit. I don't understand it, but people do stuff like that, and it is what it is. But I don't disavow it as something that's, it doesn't exist, because we know it does.
Right.
So
It does.
we need to understand, and we need to be more accepting of each other and just deal with each other on a human level, and we wouldn't have to have these conversations. Everybody's experience is different.
Yeah.
So be open to that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Trini, I lived on 172nd in Jamaica Ave for 2 years. The Ave, that's where I used to do all my shopping when I
The
thought I was
Coliseum.
cool. Yep, at the Coliseum, Shirt
Yep.
Kings. Used to go see the
Shirt
Shirt
Kings.
Kings,
You go buy
get
your
their stuff.
your gold fronts, and
Yep, yep.
yeah, go see
I,
Run
I was never
DMC.
a gold fronts guy though. Give me the necklace, give me the chain.
DMC will be standing outside the Coliseum in front of his white Cadillac with a trunk full of beer.
Yes, yes. I saw DMC actually came up. There was a park, 102 Park on 102nd Street by John Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And when my senior year, I used to cut class a lot. Don't tell anybody. But
I could
anyway,
tell.
right. So me and my boy, we went up there. We just hanging out at the park, and who pulls up behind us? But DMC just sitting there. He just gets out, wipes down his car about 10, 15 minutes. We like, what's up, D? He's like, what's up? And then he pulls off. And,
And then he drank a beer.
yeah, pretty. Yeah, I'm sure he had one. I didn't see him that day with one,
Yeah.
but I used to see him riding around all the time. And at believe it or not, at 14, 15, 16 years old, I used to take the bus down to Jamaica Ave because I used to have to go to Con Ed and pay the bill. Mom would send me with the bill
Con
money.
Ed is the electric company for people who don't know. Con
Yeah,
Edison is the electric company. You know, out here we have Southern California Energy Bill, whatever we got out here. New York is Con Ed. I miss
right.
New York, but I don't miss New York. But go ahead.
Man, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. All right, the
Yeah.
disconnected Sandpiper will just put out the old scan of Blackula with no new features, no respect for the films. Oh, okay.
So what's the point? What are we doing? Okay, fine.
Yeah, let's see how it goes then.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, exactly. So many great films got tagged with the black exploitation label when in fact they were great dramas. Superfly and Cool Breeze were strong character studies, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Okay.
Now, a
Thank
movie
you.
like Willie Dynamite is
Yeah, Willie Dynamite's
is
crazy.
that's black exploitation. Um,
Yes.
things like that. There are uh,
I actually got a
films that
Blu-ray recently of that too, actually.
I got a whole Arrow video story that I haven't told yet. They are on my S list, and yeah, but
Yeah.
Willie Dynamite was one of the pieces that I ordered that I still haven't gotten.
Oh
It's
man,
it's one of those movies that it's so buffoonish that see when you if
completely.
you can call anything buffoonish, it doesn't meet the criteria of something that would be considered a great black film. Although Willie Dynamite is an interesting look into that reality.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is nothing redeeming, if I'm not mistaken, from that film. There's nothing redeeming
Not
about
really. Not really. It's fun to watch, but when you watch a movie like that, you can definitely see why some people took offense.
it. Yeah, absolutely. And I get it.
Yeah.
Cheetah says I had to go and sub to Floyd's channel. That means I gotta do some stuff on it too, innit?
All right. Says yes, they tend to categorize a lot of films under the same banner.
Hmm.
The disconnected. Everyone should watch. Is that black enough for you? Great doc that covers some of this period. You have a connection to that doc, don't you?
I do.
You
One of my
do.
good friends. One of my good friends is the great Elvis Mitchell. That's his movie. We went to the premiere and it was amazing. It's a long piece of work, but it's a very beautiful piece of work. And even Elvis said something very thought provoking. He says, "I love to dress up. I like clothes. I really like clothes, but I hate tuxedos because back in the day, the slave or the waiters and the butlers and all
Yeah.
of these black people we dressed to the nines, but they were all servants."
Yeah.
He says, "So I won't even wear a tuxedo unless I absolutely have to, but I will stay away from a tuxedo for that purpose." There were so many gems in that piece. That was a very good piece. It's
It
still on
was.
Netflix. If you haven't seen it, Is That Black Enough for You? It was nominated for so many different awards. It's a great piece of work, and
Yeah.
Elvis Mitchell is a great dude. He's on NPR. He does a show called The Treatment. I believe it comes on every Wednesday.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, every
I'm
Wednesday. Good
You
dude.
answered my question that I had. I was gonna ask you if it was still on Netflix. It is a great doc. I've already seen it.
Yes.
But yeah, if anybody out there, I say it's a great watch. Trini says, "Yep, right down the block. Yep." We're still talking about New York stuff, y'all.
I know he killing me with that.
highly re-
Go get me a bacon, egg, and cheese and a quarter worth.
highly recommend the Warner Brother Archive edition of Superfly. It's a great commentary track on it. I need to get that.
Is it
Great
better? Didn't they put
documentary.
out Superfly on Criterion, or was that just Shaft?
Shaft, just Shaft.
They didn't put out Superfly. Didn't Superfly come out not too long ago?
Not on
Or am I
Criterion.
just manifesting that into reality?
Maybe you are.
I
Maybe.
hope that's what it is. I
I
hope that's
hope so because I
we
mean
need
they've
Superfly.
got some Gordon Park stuff there.
But could you imagine the soundtrack on 4K or
Yeah,
the conversations? I know Curtis isn't with us anymore. Curtis Mayfield isn't with us anymore. But that had to be one of the best soundtracks. That
the
and
Superfly
Claudine.
soundtrack is definitely in my top 5 albums ever,
That and
regardless of movie,
Claudine.
not just soundtracks, albums.
That and Claudine and Superfly happen to be written by Curtis
Yep,
Mayfield. So
yep.
it's great, great, great music, and I can't wait for a Superfly 4K. And Criterion, I would love for Criterion to do it because they're gonna do it to death.
They're gonna do it to
So
death. Yep.
I would love it.
Cal said good stream. Good stream. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Glad I bought that up. Didn't know Floyd was close to it. Nice. He's talking
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
doc.
Elvis Mitchell.
Yep. Still on Netflix. Karen, I loved it. Elvis Mitchell is an icon.
I'm trying to connect with Elvis. I know KB wants to. KB called Elvis one of his white whales.
Yeah, he
So
wanted to have a conversation
he
with him. Yeah.
really wants to interview Elvis Mitchell, and I want to be able to try to make that happen for him. It's a work in progress, though. So, but I've known
Yeah.
Elvis
It
for
always is.
I've known Elvis
Uh,
for over 30
yeah.
years.
Superfly needs a Criterion release. Curtis was the bomb.
Yesterday,
Absolutely.
yesterday he needs it. Yesterday he
Absolutely.
needed a Criterion release.
All right. So next movie in our Is It Horror game
Oh,
is Seven.
hell yeah! Hell yeah! That movie was terrible. I mean, that movie had so many uncomfortable. And see, that's something that I am sort of working through the definition of, because Seven, in comparison to Hereditary,
Hmm.
is Hereditary a horror movie, or
I
is
think it
it?
is. Yeah.
Is it? It's a mind blower. It
Hmm.
messes with your head, and to me, Seven did the same thing.
Okay.
So it was uncomfortable. It made you uncomfortable. So in traditional sense, horror, I think, is what we're used to is calling as horror as hack 'em ups and the crazy stuff, that type of stuff, or haunted house, that type of stuff. But these movies did something different. And Seven, and not for nothing, Seven came out, what was that? What year was that? 90.
95, I think, somewhere in there.
I was heavy in the dating game, and I saw that movie like 15 times in a row, and I was doped out. And it was still a good movie. It was still a good
Excellent movie.
movie. And a
Excellent movie.
4K, for there not to be a 4K of that is a crime.
I know it's coming. It's got to be coming.
It's coming, but it's taking way too long. But yes, in my opinion, Seven is a horror movie. It's
All
in the
right.
realm of horror.
Mine also. Enjoy the rest of the show, gentlemen. Catch the rest tomorrow morning. Thank
Disconnected,
you.
yes, sir. Stay well.
Mika says it is a. I'm sorry. Patrick said it is a horror crime thriller.
Yep, I will go along with that.
All right. And Mika says, "Hell yes is right. Hell yes is right. Seven is a horror film.
Yep.
Hereditary is cat poo.
I will
Oh,
not accept your blatant disrespect. That movie is amazing. A24 is the best film company ever.
I'm
They
I'm
do
with you. I don't know if I say they're the best film company ever, but I definitely
psychological
love
horror.
Hereditary. I
Hey,
definitely
listen,
love Hereditary.
listen. Have you ever seen anything like Midsommar?
The Wicker Man.
I didn't see The Wicker Man yet. I bought it and I haven't watched it yet. Do you think it was well? I guess it's the same concept, right?
Yeah, pretty much the same
But I mean,
concept.
like, was it as outright as some Midsommar was?
It,
Because they
it
was
gets
doing
pretty out
stuff.
there.
They was doing. This is what for me. This is what Midsommar did. Why is there a bear? Oh,
Yeah. Now
that
I didn't say that to disparage the movie because I really like Midsommar too. But the whole time I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, they're doing the Wicker Man.
and don't misunderstand. I didn't say I liked it.
Okay,
I
I
said
got you.
I'm saying it because it put me on stop. It really put me
Got you.
on stop. It was so different. It was so out of the box, and I think that that's what A24 does for me.
Yes. Yeah, they absolutely.
A24 thinks out of the box. Between Lamb, weird. Did you see
Yeah,
Lamb?
I did.
Weird.
Yeah.
Hereditary, weird.
Yeah.
Midsommar, weird. And then they do something stupid like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies or something like that, even with the little twist. But then they do Everything Everywhere at Once, which is
Yeah.
polarizing because some people hate it and some people love it.
I love that movie.
But I dig A24. They
Yeah,
do.
I do. I do. I do. Psychological horror. All right. And who didn't jump when Sloth moved? Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I'm going to pause the chat there for a second because we're running a little bit late behind. All right. So We're gonna wrap up Abby in just a minute, but I did want to bring up one other thing, one other person really, and that is the great William Marshall.
Hmm.
And he adds, no matter what the production is, he adds so much dignity to it. It almost feels like he just swooped in from a different movie.
He did. He was the black man's Christopher Lee. He was so specific. If
Yeah,
you will, you
that's
looked
a good
at,
one.
like I said, when you look at Christopher Lee and you see him as Dracula, or was he in Star Wars, Baron Mordor, or whatever he
Mhm.
was in Lord of the Rings and
Lord of
all
the
of these
Rings,
things,
right?
he's looked at a certain way. So if there was a black version of Christopher Lee, to me, it would be William Marshall. He encapsulated that for us. I'm not sure what he
Okay.
was like in real life, but on film, he was all of that.
Yeah,
He was that.
and it comes through that he was a Shakespearean classically trained
Yeah.
actor. It shines through
Yes.
no matter what he does. And like I said, sometimes like in this movie, it almost felt like he just came in from a different movie. It was like, oh, it was like, the son, the character the guy to play the son. It
Hmm.
was like, you know what, we need a guy from that other movie. Let's go get him. And and brought him in.
Some people feel that he is in the top five Draculas.
I was in my top five Draculas.
Just saying, it's an opinion, of course. It might be one of those opinions, but some people feel like he's up there because he brought something to that character that wasn't just about him being. He was Dracula.
Yeah,
He just happened to be black,
yeah.
but he was Dracula.
Truth
Wasn't
told,
wasn't like he was doing any kind of weirdo shit, or
right.
like trying to be hip or nothing like that. He was Dracula.
Yeah, true told, he was really my first Dracula. I saw Blackula before I saw anything else.
Right. That
And
makes sense. Growing
yeah,
up in Queens in the '70s, that makes
yeah.
100% sense.
It was a couple years afterwards I saw Bela Lugosi, and it wasn't in the movie Dracula, it was in Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein.
Hey, that's good shit. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
yes.
I loved Abbott Costello.
Yeah.
That was very good stuff. So
Yeah.
that wasn't a
So
bad way to see it.
right, I didn't see Dracula till years later.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna put this one to bed real quick, and I'm gonna do that by sharing my overall thoughts on Abby. And I pretty much gave it away. It's really fun movie, really enjoyable movie. Um, not as horrific as I was expecting because the tone kind of threw me off at first, but then, like you said, you got to kind of put yourself in the time of the movie. You got to put yourself in that place and be like, okay, this is what it is. But it was hilarious. It was funny. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said before, I commended Carol Speed because I thought she really sold it. She gave everything she's worth to this role. And then William Marshall, of course, did his thing. The rest of the cast was kind of up and down, hit or miss. But I thought those two were really good. Yeah, it shares a lot of beats with The Exorcist, but they did a lot of things with them. One of the things we didn't really touch on was that they really drove home the sex part of it. Really,
But because that's the conversation of that particular deity.
right,
Even
right.
though in The Exorcist, if you remember that little token that they found,
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely,
statue, that big
absolutely.
old hard, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
all
It,
that.
it's just the difference is after that happened in The Exorcist, that's kind of lingering in the background. Whereas in this movie, it's like all about it because she's out here trying to pick up dudes and have
Because
threesomes and
that's
all
the
kind of stuff.
deity. That's the
Yeah,
that's the deity. So it is what it is. They went on a
right,
different.
right.
They took that train and rode it all the way to the end. Yeah, I agree with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did very much enjoy this. So thank you for picking it. And we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the other movie. Uh Not as deep, but the conversation should still be interesting.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna
I
be.
I could show you
And
my. I was taking notes for Abby. I was writing notes for Abby. Here, here are my notes for the. Because I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But go ahead, set it up, sir.
Okay. And Mika, if you are still here, I know you've talked about this movie a lot this month because I've seen you in all the different streams and on different streams and chats and whether you're on screen or not. We're going some French horror and we are talking about high tension tonight. So high tension is we meet two college girls, this one on the front and this young lady here on, let me get a
Yeah.
better, there you go. That young lady on the back.
Alex and
They're
Marie.
right. Alex and Marie. So they're going home, basically home for like spring break or something. And they go to Alex's house to be with her family for a while, and kind of really just kind of not doing a whole lot of anything other than talking about what they're gonna do. You know, partying and then hanging out with her family a little bit. And lo and behold, middle of the night, somebody rings the doorbell. We've already met this person. We've already seen this person we know this person is crazy as a killer, and he rings their doorbell and just starts killing everybody. Basically, we get down to Alex and Marie being the only two left. He has chained up Alex, threw her in the back of his truck, driven off. But what he doesn't know is that Marie has made it into the back of his truck also, and she's trying to save Alex. And I'll stop there because then we can kind of get into details and spoilers and all of that stuff. And I see you holding your head a little bit over there, sir. So go ahead, give it to me.
Man, that movie had me jacked up. From beginning to end, the movie was so weird. I appreciate, who doesn't appreciate a good twist? I get it. I thought it was a great twist. I didn't necessarily see it coming. But High Tension is definitely not a movie you can watch once. You have to watch High Tension a few times. You might have to have something to drink, and you need to have time to analyze this film. It was the way it started, it just, standard trope type things, but it didn't seem, there was no background in terms of why she had this weird dream and woke up in the car. It was no real, like, it was kind of, it was more of like an experience that she had a dream about. And by the end of it, that's exactly what it was. It was something that actually happened. Um,
Okay, all right. So let's
wait,
start with the twist
let me say this.
without spoiling it for my friends who haven't seen it though. So
Right.
I'm you
I
brought
don't
up
want to do.
twist,
That's why I'm trying to pick my words carefully.
right? So I'm gonna ask you this question then. I'm gonna ask you this question: great twist
Hmm.
or plot hole or both?
I don't know why I would say plot hole. I thought it was an interesting twist because I once you saw it coming, it was coming.
Uh,
So I wouldn't say plot hole, but if someone does, I wouldn't disagree. But for me, it was more. It was the way it transitioned. I was like, oh, okay, wow. All right. I still don't know why or how or any of those things. I don't. I don't. It doesn't. It really. Um, you look to find the holes, as you say, to lead you to that. You look to find the things that should, the clues or the Easter eggs, as they call them, or something like that. Something that you saw that caused you to, oh, that's that. This is that. Oh, I see. And then when it happens, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know that was going to happen. I bought this movie. I bought High Tension when it came out. When it became available on that DVD that you have,
uh-huh.
I bought it and I sold it without watching it.
Okay.
So I kept seeing High Tension, High Tension, High Tension. I was actually at a cigar lounge with some friends, and one guy is talking about High Tension, and I had to act like I saw it. And he was talking about this part, and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I hadn't seen it. So, but I told him to stop. I said, because you don't want to ruin it for everybody else, which was really just me. So then when I came home that night, I got this. And yeah, this movie is very weird. But you take your hats off to um, these types of directors and these types of writers because they, again, They think outside the box. They do things that you don't necessarily expect. So I appreciate the art of it. I thought it was well done. It says it will scare the hell out of you. I don't
Yeah.
know the scared part, but it definitely raised my eyebrows, and I was like, oh, oh wow, oh dang,
Yeah.
it didn't make sense. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is
Hmm.
he?
Hmm.
And the part in the beginning, I'm not gonna say what happened in the beginning, but if you say, well, this is this, so why was this that in the beginning? What are you doing? What are
Right.
you talking about? Is
Right.
that completely made up? And when he did what he did to Pops, Pops was kind of lame, anyways. He walked into the door, and was like, "What? Who is it? Why you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who opens the
Yeah.
door that way?
That.
You open the door, but there's a gate for a reason.
Yeah.
So you open the door, or you give me 3 feet, 6 feet in some cases,
And yeah, who opens the door sticking your whole head out?
the whole head out there. But when they did what they did to him in the thing, I was like, I've never seen anything like that before. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's up there. That particular. We're not doing spoilers, right? You
Try
said
not. Well, that is not really a spoiler. That's a you can talk about that. With this movie, I'm primarily concerned about the twist.
okay. They
Everything else is fair
dude
game.
dude grabbed the dad and pushed his head through the railings of the steps. You know, the steps has railings on it going down. Pushed his head through it, stomped it through it, and then went and got a dresser and rammed the dresser, completely knocking his head off with the dresser.
Yes.
I was like, that's gangster. I've never seen anything like that before. That was really graphic, and it was really graphic. It was very
Yeah.
gory. It was a very gory movie. It was a lot. So for me, I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna have to watch it again. I have literally had to do like after I watched this movie, I had to do like crib note type stuff. I was on like online looking for high tension for dummies. I was doing all sorts of stuff so they could break certain elements of this movie down for me
Mm,
because I didn't see it at first, and then I'm like, hey, I get it. Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
that movie's a lot. If you
Yeah.
haven't
It
seen
is
High
a lot.
Tension, you have to see High Tension. You have to see High Tension at least twice. Do yourself a
Now,
favor.
reason I brought up plot hole. I'm gonna. I remember this quote verbatim because I used to read a lot of Roger Ebert reviews.
Great
A
guy.
big fan of his. Didn't always agree with him, but I still liked the way he wrote.
Mhm.
And he watched this movie, and towards the end of his review, he called it a plot hole. He didn't spoil it, but he called it a plot hole. And he said it's a plot hole big enough to drive a truck through. So if you've seen it, you know what he's talking about. But but so that always kind of stuck with me. Like, okay, if anybody sees this movie, I gotta get their thought on that.
But it doesn't. I don't think that speaks to the entire work. I think that where the holes are, they're obvious and they're big.
Mm,
But it was still enough to enjoy because there's some movies where the plot holes are so big you can't even watch it.
hmm.
This was still watchable, but I get it. And this is Roger Ebert, for crying out loud. What he says
Yeah.
is Bible, so you got to do what it is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A couple of comments here. Is yes, horror is so subjective, as we know. So many films can fall into this category. To me, if it's has horrific elements, it's horror. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Hereditary is awesome. Love A24. They're pushing back on Patrick and his take on Hereditary. Says I get it though. Not everyone is a fan. Not everyone was a fan rather.
Right.
And A24 is overrated.
He's
IFC Midnight
back.
releases the better films. IFC Midnight is good. They are
they,
good.
they do have good films, but I don't know that they're better. I mean, I think they're just as good. But again, like Mika says, it's all subjective. It's what does it for you, and for me personally, A21 was on point.
Yep.
Calvin Lockhart,
William Marshall brilliant, as was Calvin Lockhart and Ron O'Neill.
I love
Cal-
it. I
Calvin
love it.
Lockhart is kind of the under the radar guy in this whole thing. He
Yeah,
doesn't get as much love as the others.
there are a lot of brilliant, but who brought a lot of those cats to the forefront was, as you said earlier, Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby.
Yep, they did.
They were
Yep,
in a lot of their movies. Sidney, I
yep.
mean, but Calvin Lockhart,
The
um,
original Biggie Smalls.
He was the James John Amos. Um, what's his name? Shit. I'll skip him. Harry Belafonte. There were so
Yeah,
many different actors in those movies that really didn't get shine outside of that, you
yeah,
know. And Sidney Poitier just had the wherewithal to be able to make that happen. And
yeah.
it wasn't even like Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier. It was Sidney Poitier made all
Hmm.
of these things happen. Sidney Poitier was the man. Bill
Oh, he
Cosby was
was.
also the man. But Sidney Poitier made a lot of these things happen. For a person to transition from, and I'm going on a tangent, and I know, and I'm sorry,
Nah,
but
go
Sidney
for it.
Poitier was Mr. Tibbs. Sidney Poitier was, you know, in the heat of the night. Sidney
Yeah,
Poitier was all of these really serious, hardcore character parts. And then his career did something, and all of a sudden he's doing this.
yep, yep.
Who
And
else do you know that transitions like that?
and at the time, I'm glad you mentioned the relationship between him and Bill Cosby. At the time, Bill Cosby, yeah, he was a well known comedian, but Portier was the bigger star.
Sure, sure, absolutely. Well, he'd been doing it longer.
Yeah, we talking an Oscar winner by that time. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Raising in the Sun. I mean, all of these
yeah, Raising in the
serious
Sun,
roles. These
To
are these
Serve
are
with Love, Guess Who's
just. I
Coming to
mean,
Dinner.
these are roles that not everyone could do. But when he did them, when he smacked that white man in the face,
And Heat of the Night. Yep.
every I'm gonna say this, and it is what it is. Every black person was like, "Ha!" when he
Hmm.
smacked him in his
Yep.
face because that was unheard of. And the guy said, "You saw him." He's like, "Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You had it coming."
Yeah.
So
And you
it's
know
just
what? That
those
that
things.
reaction for me, that was bigger than the slap itself.
His
Cause
the
I could see
non-reaction from the
somebody,
other character.
yeah, because I could see, you just get to a point, and if somebody put their hands on you, okay,
You do what you
well,
got to
this
do.
it is, do what you got to
But you
do.
know,
But it's the reaction of the other white character going, all right, well, you
there's
had it
plenty of
coming.
movies where it didn't work out that
Exactly.
well. So you
Plenty of
know,
real life didn't work out that
oh, you ain't lying. How
well.
Beach? Did we just talk about How Beach? Okay.
Yeah, we just talked about that. All right, K man, just wanted to say hello again, and for the people who hit the like button, we'll catch the replay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you,
Cal,
thank you. Like
Mika,
button, like button, like button.
there you go. I watched The Horde off your recommendation. Really creative movie. Had fun. I don't think I've seen that one.
Nor have I.
Gerald Butler, my favorite Dracula. Okay.
Gerard Butler was Dracula.
I don't remember unless he's talking about the not Gerard. There is Gerard, I'm trying to remember the guy in the 70s, 78. What was his name?
Oh, wait, wait, wait. You talking about the guy with the big hair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was like the soap opera Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
I
had
can't
that
remember his
look.
name
Like
though.
he looked like the white Johnny Mathis.
Yeah. Wow. Now I'll never unsee it.
Deep cut.
That's awesome. Uh Everybody's saying, hey, the caveman. All right, Patrick William Marshall is a top five vampire, just like we were talking about. His vampire was so noble. Yeah, that is a
Absolutely.
quality for William Marshall. Noble, that's a great word. So next, they're gonna do Death by Temptation. Hey, Death by Temptation is a good movie.
No, it's not. Stop
I
it.
liked it. Yeah,
No.
here we go. Mika says high tension. Yes,
Mika knows these movies, boy. This is her thing.
she
French
does.
horror
French
is
horror
French.
is
Listen,
awesome.
anything foreign horror is amazing. Except U.S. horror is the only one that ain't that good. Asian
Yeah,
Korean horror, not much
Korean
can
horror
be
is awesome.
Korean horror. There's so
Yep,
many different
Japanese horror, Korean
Japan.
horror.
Forget it. They do things differently because of their perspectives are different.
Right.
The culturisms, and if that is that a word, culturisms are different. The way that people exist in different areas of the world is just different. So the perspective is gonna be different. It's like when you grow up in the Latino community and you hear about La Llorona, or you grow up in or the Chupacabra, or
Chupacabra. Yeah.
just a whole bunch of different variations of the same thing, but it's told in different ways. So
Yep.
I appreciate when I saw Wreck. I saw Wreck after I saw Quarantine.
Okay.
Quarantine was good. Rec was crazy.
Yeah, I still haven't watched Rep because I've seen Quarantine. I'm like, do I really want to go backwards?
Yes, you do.
Okay,
You absolutely do. It's a must. You have to.
okay,
Quarantine
I'm
was
gonna
one
check it out
thing,
then.
and it was like really cheap for the box set.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely check it out then. All
Yeah,
right,
man, you
Cal
gotta.
says okay. High tension. People don't know about that gem. Sweden, Denmark, Norway has some weird horror movies and TV shows, so Midsummer
Mhm.
wasn't shocking to me. Okay.
Got you. I feel that. I feel that. And Trini, if you know Trini's collection is crazy. So
Yes, I know. I
I know
know.
he's seen quite a bit. So I ain't mad at
Yeah. It says they don't, and they're starting to learn about it.
him. Mhm.
So he's saying, yeah. And let's see. And he says, really, Floyd? LOL.
Really, what I do now?
I can't remember exactly what we're talking about on
I
that
don't
one.
know. You know, Kal-El, he liked to stir the pot. Goddamn.
It's bloody movie. Yeah, it is bloody. It is definitely bloody. Feels a little off the rails. That falls a little off the rails at the end, but still fun. Or feels a little off the rails.
I agree. I agree with
Love
that.
that ending, although wasn't a fave of others. French horror really goes there.
Hmm.
It does that. It definitely does. It definitely goes there. So y'all stick your heads out for them packages, though. I can't lie. I've you hear that door knock and you know there's nobody there. You open the door and there's a package sitting there. You get excited sometime. All right, Robert De Niro went serious to comedy and it refreshed his career and got him back to bigger roles.
I don't think we could compare the two.
Yeah, the difference for me, if nothing else, Sidney Poitier was really, he was directing and getting these movies made himself,
Yeah.
whereas De
This is
Niro
a
was
different
just
ballgame.
a hired name in the movie. Great actor, no
One,
disrespect to Robert De Niro.
one
I
of
love
my
De Niro.
favorite actors of all time, Robert De Niro. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
One of
love
my
De Niro.
favorites. He's so versatile. Raging Bull.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Dracula 2000. That's the game show Dracula. He had that big
Okay,
head.
I haven't seen that one. I don't
Yeah,
think I've seen that one.
yeah. Gerald Butler.
Yeah, Godsend started De Niro's decline as far as his opening a movie on his name only. Godsend, I don't know that one. Cal didn't like the wreck movies.
Cal
Hmm.
doesn't. I bet you Cal hasn't seen the Wreck movies. You know, Cal be saying, I hate that movie. Did you see it? No. The Wreck
Mika,
Mika says she enjoyed the Wreck movies.
she enjoyed the
They,
wreck
they,
movies.
now
Okay,
they
I'm gonna have to check these out.
you do. I mean, at least the first two. At least the first two. You don't have to go all the way to the end, but at least to the first two.
All
Because
right,
after a while it starts getting a little monotonous, or they're overusing it. It's like I look at that like how I look at Walking Dead now. How Daryl's about to get his own show. For what?
right. For
We
what?
get
Yeah,
it.
really.
You're a badass. We
We
got it.
didn't have 10 seasons. Wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, Daryl. You're the
Yeah.
man. We get it, Daryl.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.
Back to high tension for a minute. Now you already said that it wasn't really scary, and I agree with that. But the tension in the title, did it live up
Yeah,
to that for you? Did it have a lot of
absolutely.
tension?
It was moments because in the earlier portion of it, I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on and what's this dude? He's bananas, and there were certain elements that did add to it that gave me that feeling of tension or suspense. I was like, what's going on? What is this crazy? You sit and you watch it, your mouth opens up a little bit, and you're
Hmm.
watching it
Hmm.
with your wife or your husband or whatever. You look at and oh dang, this is man crazy. It gives you a full. It's a ride, and I enjoyed it. I did get that feeling, but it gave you this and that. It was sort of like though, once things came together, it was like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. Now I watched it. I actually just watched it this afternoon. Um, and I'm notorious for saying that my wife does not like horror. But the trick to it is sometimes, like if she'll catch me in the middle of something, she might watch it with me.
mm-hmm,
And if it gets scary, she'll get up and leave. So she came in, I was about 15 minutes into the movie, so it really hadn't kicked off yet. But then, so she sat down, and when she sat down, I was like, I don't know if you want to be here. This might get kind of rough.
hmm,
She stayed, and then she watched the whole thing.
right,
So, so I can say that yeah, it's probably not really that scary, but it was tense. It did have some.
yeah, yeah. And I love watching movies with my wife. We'll sit and we'll watch. We'll binge. We'll go
Oh
through
yeah.
all this. Like for instance, we just wrapped up the Fall of the House of Usher on
Was
Netflix.
it? I've heard it was good. I haven't seen it yet though.
It's part of the Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. It's all part of that. It's like American Horror Stories, but it hasn't fallen off the rails.
Okay.
It's really good. It's really, really good. Quite enjoyable for us. And it's on Netflix, so all of them were there. So I said, no, we're not going to binge watch it because if we do, we're not going to have anything left. So we watch one episode a night, one episode
Oh, okay,
a night,
cool.
and we got to. It's good. In my
We, we,
opinion, it's good. But we watch horror movies, we watch comedies, we watch whatever, and it adds to the experience when you have somebody to sit with you and actually vibe off
absolutely.
of. It's fun.
Yeah, my wife
It,
and I, we watch lots of movies together. She just doesn't generally do horror.
yeah.
Um, but we've been watching lots of TV shows together. We don't have the self control to just watch one episode a night. So, so not on purpose. So like we just watched. We hadn't seen Ballers, so we went through Ballers in like 2 weeks, and it's like 5 seasons of Ballers, and we went
Wow.
through. And this is like with work and everything,
Yeah.
so we went through that. But we watch a lot of the Disney shows, we watch the Marvel shows, Star Wars shows,
Yeah.
and they only come out once a week, so that works for us. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
We loving Loki, and I just had her watch
Yes.
Werewolf by Night the other day because she hadn't seen it.
Oh, I love that one. I watched the black. I didn't watch the color one. The black and white one was awesome for me.
Yeah, it was a black and white one we watched. But we watched. There were on Netflix some years ago. That was you're familiar with who Celia Cruz is, right?
Yes.
Celia Cruz, Cuban, Afro-Cuban singer.
Yeah.
They did a show about
Yep.
her on Netflix. It had like 80 episodes.
Yeah. I'm gonna confess to tapping out on that show. My,
Man, you would think. All right, we watched the first 40 episodes, right? And then they did something that I didn't know, my wife. We didn't see it coming. They changed the cast.
yeah.
So now you have to reinvest in all of these characters. But we did. It was
Yeah.
good. And even though we knew, now I'm going to expose myself right now, even though we knew Celia Cruz died, we cried at the end when
Yeah.
Celia
Yeah.
Cruz died.
If it's
It
good,
was
it'll do that
good.
to you regardless of what you know.
It was
Um,
good.
my wife watched that whole series. I was kind of in and out on it. I would watch a few episodes here, and then I would come back after she's watched a few, and I'd kind of tap in and be like, "Hey, okay, what's going on with this guy? What's going on with that person?"
Yeah.
And she kind of give me a side eye look, but she'd answer the questions. But for whatever reason, I think it was that just that number kind of just threw me off. That
It
it was
wasn't.
like
It
80
was
some
very
episodes.
imposing. It was very
Yes.
imposing, but it was a fun ride. Subtitles and all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. But that's one of those bonding things that the wife and I do.
Oh yeah.
We sit, we watch stuff, and it's a good time, man. Things
So.
like this whole physical media ride. She's on the. I wouldn't even say the outside. She's right there with me, and she
Mhm.
supports it. And she really enjoyed when we were doing, when I was doing the YouTube stuff and all that stuff. She really enjoyed it. She really supported me. But it really helps when you have somebody that understands you and gets your sickness. Because like when I post, every time I post, I'm sick, bird. I'm sick
Right.
because just Dave Chappelle. I'm sick, bird. I'm sick because it don't stop.
Mhm.
We don't stop. This physical media thing, we don't stop. When you,
No.
I have a scanner that I scan all my movies, and if you look at this for the month of whatever. Like you bought all those movies in October. I guess I did. I didn't really notice that I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we
Oh yeah.
get side eye. We get all sorts, but she supports it and she sits and watches with me. So I really enjoy that part of old married people shit. You know what it is, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
funny though because my wife has a weird relationship with my collection. She likes that we have things that she wants to watch, but she won't always watch them from the collection. So what I mean is, let's just take any random movie that she likes, right? An older movie, and I might be in the mood to watch it. I'll say, hey, you want to watch? Let's say The Color Purple. Even let's see. Oh, you want to watch The Color Purple? Nah, I don't really, I'm not. I got it right there on the shelf. I don't really feel like it. Color Purple comes on TV, on BT or whatever it comes on, and she sit right there and watch the whole thing right off with the commercials and everything. I'm like,
Yeah,
we could watch it without commercials right there.
right,
No, this is fine.
right.
So that always cracks me up.
And they
Um,
all got their things, but the love is good, the support is good. So
absolutely.
we're
All
lucky,
right.
very fortunate.
Yes, yes. All right. So with high tension, um, well, my favorite scenes. One of my favorite scene is the gas station. No, the convenience store scene, the gas station scene.
I felt bad for old boy, man. He was like, he saw it coming. That's why he was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, he was very uncomfortable.
And I felt bad for old boy, man. He got it bad. This is, yeah, yeah. This movie is weird. I don't know what else to say. This movie is weird,
All right.
and it's definitely. But you should still watch it. You should still watch it because again, I think weird is subjective too. You have to watch it and you ride the ride, like we did.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So I got one more movie on my. Actually, I have two, but I might skip one. One
Let's
more
do them. Let's
movie.
do them. Let's do them. We on a roll. Let's do both of them. Let's
All right.
go.
Let's do both
We're
of them.
already on here forever, so let's keep it pushing.
The first
Loving it.
one, the one I was thinking about skipping, is actually in this set, and this is Silence of the Lambs. Now, I've heard a lot of people just call that kind of a thriller or
Suspense,
a
suspense thriller,
drama, suspense
suspense
thriller.
thriller,
Okay,
suspense thriller. I don't know what the chat might think, but I would say suspense thriller. I wouldn't say. I mean, there's some creepy parts, but I'm horror. No, I wouldn't say it's horrifying.
okay, okay. And the last one is American Psycho.
That's just fucking weird. See, that goes up there what I was talking about earlier when you say people do certain things and it's like we don't know it exists. But yeah, that's that weird shit. That's the yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
So out there in the
That's that
chat, those are the two movies. Discuss those if you would.
upper echelon Illuminati type behavior that most of us are on the outside of. We don't, it's weird. But hey, that's what money will do to you.
Yeah,
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
it is, man. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So for me, yeah, I lean towards horror on Silence of the Lambs, but if you don't call it horror, I'm not gonna push back too hard because I get it. American Psycho is one where I really think it's got a lot of horrific elements, but for me, it's always dark comedy.
It's horrific. It's horrific in the fact that how could you do that to somebody?
Right.
But
Yes.
it's not.
True.
It's not like frightening. It's like you had the gall, and nerve, audacity. You had the gumption to do something so reckless and crazy. It's that. It's
Yeah.
not like but shit. You look at that movie that I couldn't watch because it was just too close. So I don't know. I couldn't get it. The Dahmer series.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't.
It
I
was
didn't
too
watch that either.
much. It
Same.
was too
Same thing. I
much.
didn't watch that either.
So the American Psycho, I guess, is I would tolerate American Psycho more, but that Dahmer series I couldn't watch it because it was too much. I'm
Okay.
not that guy. Floyd with the narratives.
Oh, he's
Come on.
talking about when you said he hasn't seen the wreck movies.
No, he's actually done that before. I've heard. We've had this conversation before, so it's not. No, it's not narrative. Come on, Cal. It's good. We good. Everything is good.
All right. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna read a couple more comments. Then we're gonna put it all to bed. Don't forget to grab Buck and the Preacher from the upcoming Criterion. So I actually got that in July. I grabbed
I
that
did
Buck and the
too.
Preacher.
I did too. Great movie. Great movie.
Yep. Yes, I want to grab that one. And wreck movies are good, says Trini.
Thank you, Trinity. That's
So that's
two.
more
That's
love.
2-1. I would say 4 to
Two to one.
1.
Sorry for the delay responses. Finishing up Halloween. No
Yeah,
problem. We got a yes, and it's an addiction for sure. Talking about this collecting thing,
yes, it
yeah,
is.
it is.
We all sick.
It definitely is. The movie bay. What's going on? What's good, Del and Floyd?
Hey,
So that's my man D, the movie bay. It was first time he's been in my stream, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But he's got a great channel, kind of under the radar. As far as my circle, he's got probably more subscribers than I have, but don't hear. I know he's been dealing with some personal things lately, so he's just getting back into the YouTube thing. And I'm glad to have you back, and look forward to seeing more from you, my man.
Sir, yes, sir. I have a subscriber.
There you go. All right, Buck and the Preacher was great.
Hey, Tony, what's up? How you
Yep.
doing, Tony?
Tony is, yep, that was, I didn't even, I glossed over that fact. Thank you for being
Tony,
here, Tony.
Tony will forever be the nicest guy in physical media land. I appreciate Tony. He's a real cool dude.
Yeah, Tony's the man. No, he
Yes,
knows.
he is. Yes,
He
he.
won't own up to it, but he is the man.
He is also very sick.
Yes.
His movie collection is the majorest
It's
movie collection that I have ever seen. I mean,
it's
talk about double
insane.
dipping, triple dipping, quadruple dipping, dippity
Yeah,
doo.
it's insane in the best way though.
It
It is
is. It
insane in the
is. It
best
is. It
way.
is. I wish that my disposable income was as disposable as his.
Man, who you telling? All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it all up. I'm gonna just get your last bit of overall thoughts on High Tension, how much you liked it, if you hated it, you didn't. You kind of gave us a little insight, but go ahead if you got any final comments on it.
I think if I gave High Tension a rating between 1 and 5, I would say High Tension is definitely a 4. I would say High Tension is it's a good watch. It's a fun. Well, yeah, I'll stick on 4. It's a good watch. It gets your mind going. It gives you the creep factor. It does what a movie of its type should do. So if you're doing any sort of like viewing or having a movie party or something like that, High Tension would definitely work. It's definitely going to create conversation. It's going to create a little bit of buzz in the room. Um, I honestly, I didn't hate this movie. I did not hate this movie. I thought this movie was different. I thought this movie was they went for it in this movie. Even though it didn't make sense, which is the beautiful thing about movies sometimes, you have to suspend your own disbelief and step out of what you know is normal and ride the ride. And I do think that High Tension is definitely a ride, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got it.
Yeah, it is definitely a ride for sure. I'm totally with you on that. All right, and just taking a look and see if there's anybody else that added anything or while you were talking. And Tony said
Dippity
dippity
doo.
dip. Absolutely, absolutely. And I just wanted to go back to my man Derek D for a minute from the movie Bay. Just know that your invite is coming. I do want to get you up here on the show as well, but get better first, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was Tony's dippity dip. We got
Dippity
you.
dip dop.
All right. All right. So my man Chris, we made it all the way through. Is there anything that you want to let the people know about you, or if you have anything upcoming, or where to just find you on social media? The stage is yours, my man.
Well, I pulled back on doing the stream so much on YouTube. It was a fun ride, but then it's sort of like I feel like I lost my edge or I lost the love for it. Who knows? It could come back. But right now, I'm just doing IG. I'll do a lot of reels. My IG is FloydHouseFlix at FloydHouseFlix on IG. Um, I'm just a collector, man. I'm having a good time. I'm buying movies. I'm spending money, and it's hard, but the sickness is real. What can I say? The sickness is real. I'm trying to do. This was the first thing that I've done since I got off YouTube. This is like one of the first things that I've done since I got off YouTube, and I promised Dell immediately as soon as I get myself together that he gets first rights of refusal. I promised him that, and that's why I'm here. And I told KB, soon as I'm done with Dell, let's get it. So KB, more than likely, KB is next. Nick, I told Nick the same thing. So Nick from Movie Impulse, my man. So I'm open for whatever. I'm down for whatever. I got, there's a lot of people that I've made good connections with in this community, and I appreciate you all. I mean, from like I said, Tony, Mika, Cal. There's so many of you. It's like name I could go on forever. So I appreciate you, and Dell. I appreciate you completely. And yeah, I'm just FloydHouseFlix. You know what it is. I'm sick, bird. I'm sick.
Man, I appreciate you coming on, and I really appreciate, like I said, the connection we've made. And it's one of those things, before I started YouTube, and I'm, like you said, we about the same age. It's one of those things, you meet people on the internet and you actually become a friend. That don't happen. But
Well,
it's
except
one
I
of those.
met my wife on the internet.
Yeah. So you just you know from our era, you just don't, you kind of look at things a little differently. And yeah, I mean, I haven't met you in person, but I still
Mhm.
feel like we formed some sort of bond, and I appreciate that.
No doubt, no doubt, all day.
Yeah.
Okay.
As for me on this channel, the next movie swap is coming up next week, and I'm excited because this is going to be my first international guest.
Wow.
This is going to be my man Troy from the Comic Book Movie Collectors Guide. Uh, Go check out his channel if you are at all into superheroes. If you are into that, go check out his channel. His collection is crazy. He's over 1,000 items of just comic book movies and TV shows.
Whew. Now
I
that I could
mean,
do. My wife wouldn't let me do
yeah, that's what he's got.
that. She got to draw the line somewhere, and that's what she
Yeah,
draws.
before coming across his channel, I looked at my superhero collection is pretty good, and I've got like 300 some odd items,
Wow.
and then he's got 1,000. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so that I'm missing all of that stuff,
Right.
and I'm not gonna try to keep up because that's no, I can't do that. But one of the reasons I'm talking about him so much also is he's coming on next week, and yes, he loves superheroes. I love superheroes, but we are not going to do anything superhero related. We are actually going to let me see where that picture is. We're going to do something music related. So for anybody out there who is a fan of music movies, next week should be a big one. I have never watched all the way through Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so I'm going to watch that this week. And he has never seen Purple Rain. And I know, there you go. And I know you like me, you a big Prince fan, so I figured you would get a kick out of that one.
Well, good. It's going to be experience for him because I don't know, man. Purple Rain. You ain't seen Purple Rain? Good choice though. Watch it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
You will.
Oh man, it's absolutely a good choice. So we're gonna have a good time with both of those movies. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are also looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys come out for it. Check out my man FloydHouseFlix on IG. He's still posting up lots of good stuff on that.
Yeah.
Uh, Send him a hi, send him a like. If he decides to get back into the YouTube thing, we'll be there for sure.
There's a lot of good
And
content still on the YouTube channel. I mean, I think throughout the year so that I was doing, there's about 175 videos up on that channel.
somewhere in that ballpark, yeah, because I
Yeah.
did actually
So
look at it when I was putting this together, and
yeah,
yeah, it was
some of
like
them are some of
175
them are
videos.
pretty
A
fun.
lot of really fun stuff because you had all the commutes, all the physical media commutes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't watch those live most of the time because I was worried for you, man. I was like, this dude, he looking at the camera, he about to drive off the road.
Nah, man, not one time did I have any sort of anything. But it's not like I'm looking at the camera. I'm driving and looking ahead. I promise. I'm looking straight ahead. I might go like this, but that's about it. I'm driving. I'm doing my thing, and my hours changed. So I work earlier in the morning. So now I was doing it in the dark. It's no fun. It wasn't. It just stopped being as fun. So, but who
Yeah, no,
knows?
no,
Who
no, no
knows?
doubt.
It's definitely something that could resurface. We don't know.
Yeah, do
But
what works for you.
go check out
No,
the videos. First things first. But check out
yeah,
the videos that are on the channel. Go to Floyd House Flix YouTube channel and just see what's there. and we'll take it from there. What more can I say?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Do what works for you. All right, D says, thanks. No doubt. Mika, this was a great conversation. Thank you, Mika.
Thank you,
We need to get that round table together, Floyd, to discuss some films. Okay, Mika,
Mika. You
we can
you
do it.
you moderate. I'll show up. Guarantee you.
Oh,
Guarantee you. You
okay.
already got it done.
I'm gonna meekly hold out my hand like
Later,
a
Trini.
beggar and say, "Invite me, invite me." Trinity said, "Later, everyone."
Easy, Trini.
D says, "Your collection is sweet. Thank you. I appreciate it. I try."
Pause.
Uh, ooh, Mika's never seen Purple Rain.
Mika.
Uh-oh.
Somebody gets killed in Purple Rain, Mika. You should watch it.
Mika, you got a
Somebody
homework
get run
assignment
over
for
by
the week.
Prince's motorcycle. You
I'm telling you, you got a homework assignment for the week.
you got a homework assignment. That
You
is nuts.
gotta watch Purple Rain. Trinity says, "Yep, Purple Rain, loved it."
I saw Purple Rain when I was 13 years old when it came out, and I've been a Prince fan since.
I did. I was actually a Prince fan a little before because Little Red Corvette in 1999 came out before that.
I wasn't into Prince back then. I used to call him all sorts of stuff. And then when I
I
saw
I, I get it. I get it.
the monster trailer for Purple Rain came on, and I was in Queens, South Ozone Park. When I saw the monster trailer, it was like there's parts in that trailer that were cut out of the film.
Yeah,
Like there's a part where Jelly Bean Johnson is holding on to Prince like this, and Prince turns around and punches Jelly Bean in the
yeah,
face.
I
That's
remember.
not in the movie,
Not
and
in
I
the
think it
movie.
got burnt up in the Warner Brothers fire. So that's why they haven't done a definitive Purple Rain kind of thing.
Yeah, because that could probably get a 4K also.
My
He
collection,
says,
my collection is decent. I mean, if you go on the FloydHouseFlix YouTube channel, you can see some of the stuff that's there. Check out the IG. I got I'm pretty decent. I mean, I'm not a culture trini. I don't have that kind of collection, but it's pretty decent.
"Oh, okay." Mika cleared it up. She says she's seen it. She was shocked that the other person hasn't seen it.
Oh
Okay, got
goodness
you.
gracious! I'm like Mika, what in the world? But yeah, she cleared that up. Thank you, Mika, for clearing that. I knew you was
Thank you for clearing that up.
she
Absolutely.
was too cool
Uh,
for that.
yep. The password is what?
What
What's the password? I said the
exactly?
password. Exactly. All right. So that's going to do it for us, everybody. Again, thanks to my guests. Thanks to all you guys in the chat. Subscribe to each other out there because there's a lot of great content creators out there.
Yes,
Check out Floyd on IG. He's still posting up lots of good stuff over there.
all
And
day.
please come back next week if you enjoy what you saw this week. I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
Hit that like button.
Hit the like button.